Donald Trump has turned our once proud National Guard into people picking up trash in Washington, D.C. That's how Donald Trump is sending our military forces out in D.C. for his performative display of fascism. Meanwhile, Donald Trump is putting gigantic signs with his face on it all over buildings in Washington, D.C. to resemble what you see in Kim Jong-un's North Korea and what you saw in Iraq under Saddam Hussein with Saddam's kind of face everywhere. Here's more video right here of National Guardsmen just kind of sitting, not really sure what they're doing or why they're there as they're being deployed against an American city. You have Donald Trump, while all of this is taking place, decomposing before our eyes during a disastrous cabinet meeting that was live for reasons that aren't clear. It lasted like 4 hours. It was one of the strangest things I've ever seen. Just take a look at Donald Trump's decomposing hand for a second now. If you look very closely, remember when they used to show like those pancakes and people would be like, wait a minute, I see Jesus's face in the pancakes. Okay, zoom in on that hand of Donald Trump's. Look closely. Is that Jeffrey Epstein on Donald Trump's hand? Okay, that's not Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump's hand, but it could be Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump's hand. This, though, as the decomposing is real. The Jeffrey Epstein is not real. On his hand, that is, but he's covering up the Epstein files. By the way, did you catch this piece of news? So yesterday, Donald Trump had Bill Gates show up in the Oval Office very quietly, and then shortly thereafter, Bill Gates announced that he would no longer be providing funding through the Arabella Group, which is like a fiscal sponsor that has some associations with kind of more left-leaning groups. So removing his funding there and taking it out of charitable groups associated with Arabella. By the way, do you know that Bill Gates on a number of occasions had been meeting with Epstein? That's one of the reasons that Melinda Gates said that she left him. And I wonder what they were talking about in the Oval Office. We'll just leave it at that. Now, did you see that cabinet meeting? I covered it on the MeidasTouch, and then at the MeidasTouch Network, we made this video of what went down at that cabinet meeting. As we say, another successful cabinet meeting with dear leader. Like, this would quite literally make North Korean say, whoa, y'all went over the top with this cabinet. It is humiliating to be an American right now under the Trump regime with stuff like this. It is cringeworthy. We used to mock this stuff when we'd see it in other countries. It's here on steroids, and it is just freaking gross. And I think about that remember the South Park movie 20 years ago where they like mocked Kim Jong-un's dad, or the movie The Dictator, Sacha Baron Cohen. Like, we had a history of mocking dictators and mocking Saddam Hussein and being free and proud Americans. What the hell is this? Another successful cabinet meeting with dear leader. Watch this. Play this clip.
If you all haven't stopped by the Department of Labor, Mr. President, I invite you to see your big, beautiful face on a banner in front of the Department of Labor, because you are really the transformational president of the American worker, along with the American flag and President Roosevelt.
Working for this government, for you, is the greatest honor of my life. I tell it to everybody, and I really do feel that way, and I thank you.
You have breathed life back into the profession of law enforcement. Your respect for law enforcement is so incredible. It's making a difference.
This is just such a great opportunity, really, to recognize your leadership as a true champion for working people.
Well, everyone knows there's no stronger advocate for hardworking American families than you.
Well, Mr. President, first of all, thank you for the opportunity to work for you.
Our country has never been so secure thanks to you. You have brought us back from the edge.
And there's only one thing I wish for, that Noble Committee finally gets its act together and realizes that you are the single finest candidate since this Nobel Award was ever talked about. to receive that reward.
It's pretty great to celebrate Labor Day with a builder who loves labor. The great Trump projects have come from the very men and women we're going into this weekend to celebrate.
Thank you for saving college football, by the way. We're all very grateful.
And folks, Americans know what's going on, and it's such an honor to know that the MeidasTouch network is reaching so many Americans in so many areas. And I know we're not just preaching to the choir, because I hear from people in deep red states, in the reddest area in red states, and I know we're reaching people all over the world. I know we're speaking to people in mining towns in Canada. We're speaking to people in defense industry towns in Australia. We're speaking to people in Africa, all throughout Europe. We're speaking to people across the world. Shout out to all the Meidas Mighty across the world. But speaking of deep red districts, Democrats pulled off another major victory that nobody said could be done. In Iowa's Senate District number 1, Democrats flipped the seat. A Trump 11.5 district where Trump won in 2024 by 11.5 points flips in favor of a Democrat here by about 9 to 10 points. So it's almost like a 20 plus point flip back in the direction of Democrats. You'll recall in Iowa, there was another Senate seat. Do you remember this? We reported on it back in January, where that Democratic candidate became the senator, Senator Zimmer. So Democrats have broken the supermajority in the Republican Senate. Hat tip to Caitlin Dray. She ran an incredible nonprofit group over in Iowa, an Iowa Moms group for gun safety and for just pro-democracy in general. She's 37 years old, bringing a new type of leadership to the Senate. What we're seeing here as the Senate and the Iowa Senate, that is, what we're seeing across the country right now, Democratic overperformance in special elections by 12.7 so far. Democrats swinging popular vote overperformance 12 to 15 points, which would suggest Democrats are going to potentially have a major pickup in the midterms. Don't get cocky, don't whatever. Just go out and get out the word. I've done a lot of series where I cover these town halls in red districts and purple districts. People are pissed. They know what's happening. People aren't stupid. I know MAGA wants to think that everybody's MAGA mush brain, but that's not the case. Even people who voted for Trump or who didn't care about politics are like, what the hell? You're taking away my health care. You don't have the power to tariff the world, Donald. You're tariffing the entire world. By the way, any moment now, whether it's today or tomorrow, I'm expecting a ruling from that Federal Court of Appeals invalidating Donald Trump's tariffs against the world. So then all of those tariffs are going to go away. Trump will appeal to the Supreme Court. Watch for that. It's going to happen any moment now, I predict. We're going to get that ruling and then come back to this video and you can say that we predicted it here. So people are saying we're taking away our health care. Things are far less affordable. Everybody I talk to is saying, I can't afford to go out. I can't go to dinner. I can't buy food. I can't go out and do things right now. And Donald Trump's made the world less safe by far. Even though Trump's like, I solved 10 wars. No, you didn't. You didn't solve 10 wars. You're begging and thirsty for Nobel Peace Prizes. It's just weird and deranged and un-American. We have to call out this behavior. And again, there's hope though, right? There's the Democrat winning in Iowa. Democrats overperforming 12.7. Even this Trump-appointed judge, U.S. District Judge Thomas Cullen, came out with a powerful order against Donald Trump's lawsuit against all federal judges in Maryland, because Trump says it's so unfair. These federal judges have a rule that if you're a migrant that Trump wants to send and deport to another country, as soon as you file a motion, the Department of Justice can't deport you until they show good cause, and then there's another hearing. So Trump sued every federal judge in Maryland saying that rule is unconstitutional, and then this Trump-appointed judge is basically saying, and defending the rule of law and really pushing back forcefully against Donald Trump. So that was an important development. We also saw 180 current and former FEMA staffers sending a letter on Monday to members of Congress and other officials protesting the agency's leadership and direction. Not anonymous, they're putting their names to it. And then as a result of them all calling out what the Trump regime has done to destroy FEMA, the Trump regime has put on administrative leave and basically are going to fire all of those FEMA employees, just gutting all of FEMA. So by the way, hat tip to those FEMA employees. We see at the MeidasTouch Network, I know you watch this show, I know who you are specifically, and we're so honored that you watch this. We're so proud of the work that you're doing. About 180 current and former FEMA staffers sent a letter on Monday to members of Congress and other officials arguing the current leaders of FEMA are inexperienced and their approach is harming FEMA's mission and could result in disasters worse than Hurricane Katrina. And as a result of them engaging in this whistleblowing and putting their names, the Trump regime has placed them all on administrative leave. If you want to hear what these MAGA Republicans are talking about as well, so you see how deranged they are, here's the GOP candidate in Virginia for governor, Winsome Sears. She's like, life is terrible. You come out of the womb, you start crying, and that's life for you. Horrible. Life is hard. But that's what I mean. These MAGAs view existence and life as something that is valueless. And they like suffering. And this clip explains it perfectly. Here, play this clip.
You know, life is going to hit you hard, and you have to be prepared for it. You come out of the womb screaming. That ought to be an indication of how things are going to be.
What an odd thing to say by her, but that's a MAGA view right there, right? Remember when millions of people were dying of COVID? Like, they don't care. They act like they're pro-life. They're not. They're the death party. They're the pro-death, pro-crime, pro-cult, freaking weirdo MAGA stuff. And like, don't give these weirdos, these dangerous weirdos, agency over you. Fight back, punch back, stand up, stand united with us. By the way, here's Donald Trump right here saying, you know, if I'm a dictator, who cares? If I stop the crime, people say I should be a dictator. Here, play this clip.
But then he goes on television and says, oh, Trump is a dictator, he's a dictator. And a lot of people have heard, so the line is that I'm a dictator, but I stop crime. So a lot of people say, you know, if that's the case, I'd rather have a dictator. But I'm not a dictator. I just know how to stop crime.
And fortunately, you have people now like Governor Gavin Newsom fighting back hard. Governor Newsom posting this photo of Donald Trump dressed as a Soviet leader as the Trump regime talks about taking control of the means of production of more companies. They've taken over a major portion of Intel. They say they're coming for Lockheed Martin and lots of other American companies. They want to seize power, aka communism dictator Stalin. Trump, Stalin. Trump, Hitler. Trump, Saddam Hussein. It is obvious who this guy is. Call him out. Stand strong. Get rid of this freaking dictator. Stop with this crap. We're Americans, damn it. We're Americans, damn it. Talk about real freedom. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.